Hi, guys. Welcome to Title Talk, episode 6. Great to see all of you today. And sorry we're a minute late. We're just getting our live guests right now. We've got people that are going to be joining us from Las Vegas, the Las Vegas office, which is pretty exciting for anybody doing business out in Las Vegas. You absolutely want to know this powerhouse escrow team. They are with us now, and we'll bring them up shortly. But before we do that, Dina, what's new with you? What's happening in your world?
Well, I've had a lot of fun this week because that list that we talked about on episode 5 got a ton of traction. So I want to just give a shout out to everybody who reached out to me to get the list that we talked about on episode 5 and learn about if their market is appreciating or depreciating.
Amazing. And guys, if you did not take advantage of that data and you do want it, you can still get it. But the only way you get it is by emailing Dina. Where's the email?
TitleTalk@fnf.com.
TitleTalk@fnf.com. And Dina will send you the data to let you know if you are in an appreciating market or a depreciating market. And speaking of hot markets, my gosh, we got two superstars from Las Vegas. Excited to talk to both of you. Why don't you do the honors of introducing our two guests? Because you know them much better than, although I've heard they're legends in the field. So I'm just excited to meet these two legendary ladies. But give us a little background on them.
Yeah, absolutely. And you actually got to meet Julie
when we were in
Las
Vegas.
Vegas. Not too long ago.
I remember that.
Yeah, so Julie Cimarelli has been with Fidelity 25 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and believe it or not, she started as an escrow officer.
Wow.
For 12 years. And she is vice president of sales and marketing for Fidelity in Las Vegas and an absolute great asset. We have a lot of mutual clients and a ton of fun. So I'm super excited. Julie's going to be here. And then she's also got Jennifer Hubbard, who is a senior escrow officer and does all kinds of business for Fidelity. She understands investor space, commercial space, residential, and kind of everything in between. So we definitely have some amazing assets that are going to join us today. So before we bring them on, guys, you got to give us a thumb.
Yeah. Why are you guys stingy with them likes, huh? Hit us with the likes, guys. It helps the algorithm and also lets us know that you're alive. We don't want to be doing a show for robots. No, we want, and look, there's a lot of people in the, hit us with a like, share this on your feed, whether you're, or if you can share this to your Facebook or whatever, it would be really helpful to us. And we appreciate it. Ladies, a pleasure to meet you both. How are you today?
Hi, thank you. Nice to meet you as well.
Yeah, we are blessed to be on this show.
We can't hear their audio.
Oh.
I can hear Julie.
You can hear Julie? Mm-hmm. Okay, wonderful. I'm unable to.
Hey guys, if you're in the chat, let us know if you can hear them because I can hear Julie pretty good.
Jennifer can.
Wonderful. So he's just going to move me. Go ahead.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm so glad you guys are here today. And we want to know what's going on in Vegas besides the fact that the Golden Knights are on fire.
Oh my gosh, we all have no here, right? We are. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, yes. I can hear you perfectly. Yes. It was a plug-in issue on my end, so all good. Nothing on yours.
Sorry about that. Yeah, the whole city is just freaking out. We got to get back to work. It's not Friday yet, but yes, we are hitting this first round of the Western Conference Finals tomorrow. And, they said they would never put a hockey team in the desert and we wouldn't do well. So here we are and we're loving it, right?
Yes,
yeah. Hockey fever, night fever.
You guys have been killing it. And you guys have not just killed it this season, but you're a pretty formidable team. And you guys came out swinging. So how important is sports? And, of course, like Vegas getting the football team and the hockey team in that little short amount of time, how important has that been to the economy there? And has it affected real estate at all?
Oh, I would say yes, right?
Absolutely.
And I think hockey came at such an incredible and tough moment, though, the 1 October, what Vegas went through and that season, just how everybody embraced this team. We needed that. That was so healing for us. And then along comes football, right? It's like we're a real city now.
I mean, you were always a real city, but now you're like you're not just a wooden puppet.
No.
kidding.
Yeah, me too. So now here we go.
It's
And
great.
NBA team. So it's good stuff. We love it.
Well, you think
Absolutely.
about it, what happened, right? So it was right on the heels of the Vegas shooting
Yes.
that an expansion team is formed, which is basically going to every single team in the league and saying, get rid of 2 people.
Right.
And then having those 2 people come together with everybody else that's basically considered a misfit because somebody said,
We don't want you.
We don't want you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then taking that to the level that they did the first year out of the gate is incredible leadership, in my opinion.
I'm excited for the movie. You know, they usually make movies about like sweetheart stories like that, and so maybe there'll be a movie like a Mighty Ducks, but you know, a Vegas Knights kind of version of it.
I love it. That's a great idea.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Good idea.
This has definitely embraced the team, and the fact that it's a homegrown team. It's not a relocated team. This is our team. It's really become a major thing for the city.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
I think it's created community too, because I know like every time I'm walking around Las Vegas, I mean, I just see people wearing Knights gear constantly. And back in the day, like you didn't see anybody that had like something to embrace or get excited about where it was like they were all wearing the same jersey.
Well, yeah,
Right.
I mean, Vegas is people would come to town, typically leave on a Sunday, right? And so like you wouldn't really stay for anything, and games happen throughout the week. And so now you've got this reason to be there, and even the locals have a reason to get behind it. And I mean, for me, if I'm coming to town, I'd love to watch a game between Vegas and Calgary if that happens, you know? And so like, because the Calgary Flames are my team, you know, and I think people that are traveling from other towns, they're going to want to watch their team play the Vegas Knights, and it just makes for a fun experience and a way to be more involved in what's happening in Las Vegas, as well as all the home fun that's happening for the people that are residents of Las Vegas.
Well, and let me just tell you, those games are fun. They're like rock concerts. I mean, mixed with some sports.
Here's what
and
I
a
gotta
show.
say. Okay, Americans don't appreciate hockey enough. I like to say this because like sometimes people are like hockey sucks. Like, why do you like hockey? Well, let's just think about this in like real terms. Okay, grown men are on an ice rink on razor blades, and they beat each other up. How is that not exciting?
Right.
What is not exciting about that? I mean, they're going at 40 miles an hour, like coming at you. There's the pucks are. If you've ever felt a puck before, it's incredibly thick. It's like a bullet of lead coming at you, and these guys fire these things hard, and you get to watch boxing in the middle of it, like two or three times a game. It's a phenomenal sport, and there's nothing like it. You never see people break out into fight and paddleboard. You never see people break out and box in badminton or tennis. Yet everyone gets crazy. Oh my God, golf. I love golf, but like, when's the last time you've seen a golf player smack somebody in the head with a golf club? It doesn't happen, but it happens in hockey.
Yes, it does. And
They just call it
each
high
other.
sticking.
Yeah, they throw each other against the glass too, and that's kind of fun to watch.
Yes. So guys, I mean, yes, I think golf is fun, but hockey is way better.
Way more fun.
Right?
Yeah.
We love
Awesome.
it. We love
So,
it.
ladies, I want you to share with the world that's watching us how you guys both got started in the business.
Jennifer, should I let you?
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine was actually just a fluke. I moved out of Las Vegas. I was born and raised in Vegas, and I left a year after high school and moved to California and just went to an employment agency. And I had no idea what escrow was, and took the job. I had a little bit of banking that I had for experience. And so I was hired, and I have been so fortunate in my career to work with some of the best escrow officers there were. California, I came back after 3 years to Las Vegas, and very, very lucky that I've worked with the teams that I have so I could learn and experience the different types of transactions and learn from the best in this business. So I feel very lucky. And that was 35 plus years ago.
Wow.
Jennifer's very modest. Jennifer was closing probably 200 acquisitions through first quarter of last year. The market shifted last summer. She's what I call a baller. There's no transaction she can't handle.
Thank you,
and
Jill.
Just incredible communication, her team. She does high volume. The real, we'll probably get into that investor wholesale, and some of that stuff just gets, you gotta be on your game. So she's a good one.
And I've, again, very fortunate that I have the team that I have now and have had in the past to get to this point.
So tell us a little bit about the types of escrows that you are specializing in. Because of course, the people that are typically tuning in to Title Talk are investors. So share with us a little bit about the different types of investor deals that you do, and maybe some of the nuance that you find that could be a little different in Las Vegas as opposed to California or another state.
Well, the investor deals we work on, they like you said, they vary, the different types of investors. We have some high volume ones. I've got a couple that are just the mom and pop operations that are just doing a few deals a month here and there. And each one is different, which makes them all unique and exciting. We have a great team with Fidelity, so we can process each type of unique transaction that comes across my desk. And we do see all types of them. So I feel like that each file needs to be dealt with as an individual, obviously, because each one is different. And we have the tools here at our office in Fidelity, including our underwriting department, that makes the transactions seamless to the client. And they're not all seamless. So to make them feel that way and get through the transactions is a big part of our job.
Love it. And so are we talking like wholesale deals, creative finance, subject to wraps? Are you seeing all of it?
Yes, absolutely. And now with the interest rates, they're getting more into some of the creative deals. And like you said, some of the wraps, some assumptions, more seller financing than we had in the past. But things just change with the market. And with our market right now, a little bit different, we're seeing those kind of deals come up.
Incredible. So if a new investor is, say, getting involved in a creative finance deal, say they're trying to do a sub 2, could they come to you and have you help them through the process of getting that deal done?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the big things with the clients that I work with is if we can talk ahead of time, and communication is key, the more I know about what you're trying to do, the easier it is for us to accomplish it together as a team.
So hypothetically speaking, I'm talking to a homeowner, they owe, just about as much for the property as it's worth. And so it doesn't have a lot of equity, but it's got a great interest rate, 2%, something that I want to take down as a rental or something that I want to wrap. Would I come to you and say, hey, look, I'm going to take this deal, I'm going to put it under contract, and I have a potential buyer for it that I want to create a wrap mortgage. Can you do all of that for us? Can you help us with creating the note, creating that whole I mean, that's incredible. And does it cost $1 billion to have you do that? What's the
no, part of our escrow services. We're obviously not negotiating the terms or negotiating the contract, but with the parties know what their intent is and can be clear and let us know, we can help them work through that so that all of the documents we need are there, or all the information that we need is there up front. I like to get with some of the creative ones ahead of time, just to make sure that they're going to include what we're going to need, or let them know this is what we're going to need to address. It's easier for you to address it up front in your transaction than to go back and get an addendum or go back and forth. So it's great. I don't mind at all looking at a draft or talking about what they're trying to do, and just give you the points from the escrow, and especially from the title side, what you're going to be up against or what we're going to need as part of the process. So the sooner we get those items in, and even if we get them in before we go into escrow, we have the information, it's going to make the process that much easier. The more information we get up front, the less last minute things or delays we have.
Well, especially with timelines, right? Because that's the kind of stuff that can get real tricky if you don't have all the information right out of the gate.
Right.
I totally agree. Now, you know what? It's an interesting thing, but I've had documents where I've, used specific contracts, and sometimes title companies would prefer to use a more robust contract or a document that's a little bit more involved. Do you ever help customers or clients with documentation if they require them to do these creative deals or to do wholesale transactions? Can people come to your title company and say, hey, hook me up with some contracts?
No, they would get those from the board, the real estate board, or we see contracts written on a napkin. I mean, we see contracts written just on a yellow legal pad, and they can bring it to us and we can make that work.
Wow.
So, yes.
Napkin.
Back of the napkin contract.
They all can't make that work.
Yeah, no. But if the terms are there,
just say we brought the best.
Are there, and they're signed, and everybody's got all this information on it, it doesn't need to be that formal. It just needs hit the information that's important that we need to deal with and all the terms of your transaction.
We are
Yeah,
not
Jamil, when you
recommending
say-
napkin contracts, though.
Listen,
No,
some
well,
people
no,
can do them on the
but
back of a napkin. I'm gonna,
I've
you know,
definitely seen them,
We
especially
have-
back in the good old days. They'd be
Yes.
sitting, having a cocktail in the evening and write their contract out and bring it to escrow the next day.
Yeah.
that's phenomenal. And you know what, I think that just does remind me that it doesn't need to be that serious, guys. We can have fun with this. We can, you can do deals with people, and sometimes these deals literally happen sitting in a restaurant talking terms, and you make a little term sheet, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, look, we've got it. You sign, I sign. Let's just take this to our title company and have this situation done up. And it's beautiful that you guys can work like that. I mean, that to me is A, shows your level of experience, but B, the fact that you can create professional documents and professional services from something as small as that. So it just goes to show your experience, which I think is phenomenal.
So, Julie, I don't think we heard how you
Tell us
were
about
born into the business.
how
So,
were you born?
and then I want to just say, because Ron Blocker, our senior underwriter, kind of walked in here. We have the head honcho that makes, when stuff just pops up. So we'll probably get to that later. But part of some of these transactions, Jennifer, you just have the team that you go to, and it's not, hey, how are we not going to do the deal? And maybe we'll talk about that later. It's like, how do we get this deal
And
done?
that's the bottom line.
So,
Nothing happens if we don't close the transaction for the parties involved. So our goal is the same end goal is let's get it closed. And what do we have to do to get to that?
Yeah.
We are, like Julie said, very fortunate that we have a team here that can, especially the underwriter she mentioned, that we don't tell the parties flat no unless it's absolutely bottom line no that we can't do the transaction. We will tell you we can't do this unless we get this and this. We're going to give you options. Our underwriter that we work with in-house here is amazing, so that we can give the clients the options. We have other ways or solutions to work through things.
Wait, we have special guests that we don't see on camera. Is that what I'm hearing over there?
We brought in a hidden weapon. We're all
Oh, all
invited.
right. So maybe we should play Stump Las Vegas.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And maybe we save him for later. I don't know. He is the deal.
So you want to tell them how you got in it?
Oh yes. So, goodness, I worked for a real estate agent while going to UNLV. I'm homegrown, born and raised Vegas.
That is rare.
Rare, yeah. Where I'm rare. I've seen this town grow. In 1988, there were 300,000 people living here when the Mirage opened. So
wow, was there still mafia there? Like, was that who was in charge?
Oh, yes.
When
yeah, my dad's retired from the casino business. We've kind of seen everything in this town. So I have the escrow experience. So I love working with investors. I'm on the sales side, so I want to help investors, acquire, get transactions, and then turn them over to fabulous Jennifers to close. But I've been off an escrow desk since 2003. I did 5 years of my career here at Fidelity on the escrow side. I love the sales side because probably I just love to connect and talk, and with these great people behind me. But I kind of stumbled into escrow because I was going to be a news broadcaster, and that was paying $5 an hour getting out of UNLV. So I'm like, this escrow job paying $8 an hour, working at a small escrow company just was a better gig. So, and then it was like, hey, I actually like this. I like the people side of this. I like solving problems, bringing people together. And Dina knows the sales side of Fidelity and what we can accomplish in the company that I've been blessed to be at for 25 years.
We are blessed.
incredible. What an incredible story. And it's really interesting that how we've got over 100 people here just watching live, and 1,000 will view this or more throughout the week. And it's interesting to me just how many people are interested in what's happening in the world of escrow. Like, we've got a viewer right now, Tabitha Jones, who's doing deals in Las Vegas. Tabitha, you should be bringing your deals to Fidelity Title first and foremost.
Yes.
So please reach out to Julie so you can do some business with them. But her question was, can you address verbiage for not needing an end buyer who is in breach of contract to sign a cancellation? So apparently what's happening is she is possibly assigned a deal and the buyer is in breach and she wants to get the EMD now, but some title companies are requiring her to have the buyer agree to lose their earnest deposit. Is that something that you guys would enforce? Or if the contract states that the buyer in breach loses their EMD, will you just release the EMD?
Oh gosh, I would say release it up front if that seller wants it, right?
Yes.
Get it out the door up front.
We still have requirements and procedures that we have to adhere to as well. We do have some cancellation provisions where there's non-response. We can do a 10-day letter type thing with non-response, send it certified mail, make sure you get it to the right place, that we can then move forward with that cancellation. But we are going to give the parties the opportunity to sign the cancellation or perform under the terms of the cancellation, actually get them signed so we can release funds. But we do see a lot of upfront released funds, and that ends some of those concerns when you have those situations.
Got it. So you're saying
us to be a judge, so to speak,
Right,
right?
correct.
Where we sometimes don't really know the terms of the cancellation, what maybe some of the milestones that weren't hit, the due diligence, if anything. So if we get into being the judge and not the neutral third party, we got to be careful on that. Yeah.
Correct.
Got it. So you're saying a good workaround is have EMD released immediately upon signing an assignment.
That's one of the ways to go. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way we don't have any issues about having to go and like fight for earnest money if my buyer ends up non-performing.
Correct.
Now, if that buyer doesn't perform, if the verbiage in my contract has the contract reverting back to me, am I able to close it on that day, or am I held hostage until this person signs the cancellation?
That's something I would have to run up management changes to make sure, but I believe we were going to have to go once the assignment's in place under the terms of that.
Awesome. So these are all real. These are real things that happen in these deals. And so it's super important that people understand the nuances. And sometimes it's, you might even be better to do a double escrow so that you can close your AB contract instead of the assignment, even though it might cost you a little bit more money. I mean, look,
peace of mind is kind of priceless.
Here's the thing, right? I mean, looking at it, in Arizona, it's a little different. If my buyer breaches, my earnest money is released to me immediately, and my assignment has verbiage in it that says the contract reverts right back to me. They're in breach. I can perform on my AB and close the deal the same day. So I get the EMD and I get to close.
Right.
It's a little different in Las Vegas, and it's going to be different in every state. This is why we're doing this show, guys. So
Title Talk,
because you need to understand the nuance in every market. You got to understand the nuances in every market, and it's really important. They can only do what they're allowed to do based off of the rules and regulations of their state and the rules and regulations of the way that they operate there. And so you can't just apply the way things are going in your home state to another state. You got to talk to your title people. If you don't have good title people, what do? Email titletalk@fnf.com so that Dina Jones over here can connect the dots for you to great escrow officers across the nation. But Tabitha, your business should be at Fidelity here in Vegas. And anybody else who's doing business in Vegas, reach out to these ladies because they know what they're talking about. I mean, first and foremost, the automatic EMD release, brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Very smart.
Sign the assignment. Earnest money gets released to me right out the gate. I don't want to fight you for it. We're not getting into a scrap. I already got the money, and it is what it is. Earnest money was non-refundable and released immediately. I got it. Now, what happens if you can't deliver clear title? How do you get that EMD back for the buyer?
Well, that's the risk that's taken on the release of funds. We do have an instruction, or if the verbiage is in the purchase agreement, we can go with that. It has to be specific and initial for that particular clause, that once it's released, escrow can't aid in the recovery of it. We have no way to go get it back. So that's a risk that the buyer takes in having the EMD release. The great thing to talk about. This is we got to know all the sides.
What's more important, right? Do you want the EMD now, and do you want to,
But are you releasing EMDs after due diligence when you've cleared the title report, read the title report, that sort of stuff? It does all come into play.
Yeah. But if a buyer wants to close immediately and they're promising to close. And I like the nugget you just gave, a free nugget, right, for all the investors listening, because you said when it opens, they're going to sign just a one paper for us, the money. If for some reason they don't close or they get the prelim, if it's being released within 24 hours from escrow opening and they discover something they don't like, well, it's kind of on them. There's no recovery. Now, Jennifer is saying further, there's a paragraph you can put into your contract. So this would be something you call us, meet with Jennifer, that you could put in the contract and you're not even signing this additional verbiage.
Correct.
Is that correct?
As long as that
yes.
verbiage
Okay.
about the release
Okay.
and the risks of the release are set forth in the purchase agreement clearly with the verbiage we can help them with, and initialed so that the parties specifically read that section.
How about if I have it released when clear title is obtained?
And that's the majority of the times that we see it, is when the due diligence or the review of the report and everything's been brought in at that.
That's the money.
That's the silver
money
bullet
phrase
right there, guys.
Yep.
So Tabitha, get with the ladies over here at Fidelity Title and get going on this, because what you want is to adjust and amend your contract to have the verbiage in it that states that earnest money will be released as soon as clear title is delivered. And all of those issues are taken. Because again, I want to be fair to my buyer. I don't want my buyer to have to chase me around for their earnest money, or have to feel like they're going to have to chase me around for their earnest money to get it back. If I can't deliver clear title to you, you get your earnest money back. That's it. Take your EMD back. However, if I give you clear title and now you're hemming and hawing and you're like, well, no, you don't want to close. You're giving me the EMD. It's released to me the day that the clear title is given up, and that's it. They're going to release the money to me. It doesn't matter how many times you call her, she's going to release the money, because that's what it says in the contract, right? Is that how that works?
Yes, there would have to be some clear definitions in the contract of clear title dates. We just can't say, well, this date escrow received clear title, going to release the money. We would want a target date, and everything at that particular time is approval. Yeah, approval, prelim, or something to trigger what they have determined is we've received everything we needed. We can provide clear title. The parties agree that that's the case.
The chat's actually going a little crazy right now.
Yeah, hit the like button.
They're like, hit the
I
like
love
button.
it. I love
This
it.
is great questions. These are great pieces of nuggets. These are great things that, people don't talk about. Here's the thing, right? When Dina and I started this, we're like, hold on a second. Who's going to listen to this? Right? Because
I really wasn't sure.
She wasn't sure, because it's like, do people, but it's really important. Guys, we're professionals. We are professionals in this business, and it's really important to understand the contracts that we're getting involved in. It's really important to understand where you can fall into a title trap, which is I call that buyer cancellation clause. Having to have my buyer agree to lose their earnest money is a hard thing for someone to swallow, right? Mm-hmm. That's a title trap. And that's one of the things that we talk about on this show. So since we're on the subject, ladies,
let's talk about title is sexy.
Well, it's sexy, yes. Title is sexy. I mean, look at these ladies, and I'm not trying to be fresh here, but you guys are wonderful and very smart. But it is a sexy business, and I think it is important to talk about, right? We're having fun talking about this stuff, and we can make it sexy for sure. But since we're talking about title traps, what have you guys seen as a trap or something that people can get stuck in that we should know about in doing deals out in Las Vegas?
Well, I think some of the big stuff is definitely the title reports and what we're going to go up against, because that's going to be a delay in your transaction. That's going to be, if we know what we're looking at ahead of time, we get you a property profile, a lien report, something to look at the property before you jump into it. And then next thing I know, I get a purchase contract you want to close in 10 days. That's not realistic based on the research we've done ahead of time. So some of those things is to know more about the property when we get into it, so that we can close under those short time frames that they like to get them done, and not have to have a lot of surprises along the way. And the biggest surprises are always going to be what's on that title report, what they didn't do in the past, or what they is subject to, or they did an uninsured deed, or all these things that cloud the title or create issues for us to clear the title. Those are things that are going to delay your transactions, and that become frustrating to that buyer that thinks they're going to close in a timely fashion.
Well, what's one of the stormiest rain clouds you've ever seen on a title report?
Seen quite a
Wow,
few. I've seen quite a few. Maybe it's now the time to bring our underwriter in on this. He knows a lot of stories on that.
We'd love to hear
Yeah,
them.
I mean,
Give us some ugly
give us
stuff.
give us some
Family-
I'm gonna say that definitely the family members.
taking advantage maybe of other family
Well,
members.
or when you're always
issues.
seeing somebody that's gonna just deed it to their kid, and they don't realize there's a tax lien that's gonna attach to that property, and there's things that obviously we sell title insurance, but without title insurance in the past transaction, it creates a lot of issues for us in the current transaction.
So Jennifer, I owe the IRS $200,000. I can't just give my property to you for now and then just not pay the IRS.
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Don't do that. Or
Got it.
spousal
Please-
interest,
Please call us before you start recording any of your deeds
Yes,
down at the
exactly.
county.
That could be evasion. It could be a fraudulent transfer, right? If you're trying to evade a creditor or evade that, and you just deed your and people don't get it, and that's why I never do business outside of title. Don't do it,
Absolutely. And we're not
guys.
saying that we sell it, but we see so many problems that arise because they didn't do title. Even if the intent was there and it was in good faith, they don't always know what was there. It's either parents or family, but it can also be, I had a friend that he was doing a favor for a guy, and he deeded him the house, or he was living there, and he says, I'm just going to deed it to you. That guy can't sell it now because he has all the old issues from the guy that was generous enough to deed it to him, but also had tax liens, had spousal interest from prior transactions. They didn't have the spouse deed off, which in a community property state, we need the spouse to sign off. So he took a deed from a gentleman that was married, deeded it just from that gentleman's name himself to this gentleman, to his was a friend. And now he's gone, the gentleman that deeded it to him, and the friend can't do anything with the property because it was just a gift to him. Even at a gift, get title insurance, because you do not know what's going to be in the future on that.
Especially if it's a gift, because hello, you didn't pay for it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Or the ones that do it not necessarily as a gift, but just give me a couple bucks for this and I'll deed you my property. We've seen that as well.
that happens a lot, right? Where someone just tries to maybe run a scam on someone, and they know they've got a very messy title. They know they may not even have the right to sell it without their spouse or without all of the other people that might be on the report or might be involved. And so they just say to somebody, hey, give me $50,000 for a house that might be worth $200,000.
Absolutely.
They get a $50,000 cashier check. They say, I'll just deed you the house. They deed them the house. And then they go and try to sell that house a couple of years later, even a month later, they come to you guys and you're like, sorry, I can't do anything with this.
Right. We have a 6-page report with all these liens and things on it we have to deal with first, that's what you'll find on those situations. We have a gal that's just wanting to be added to her mother's property. Even in those situations, get title insurance, because if you just go deed and add your mother on there as a joint tenant to protect the house to go to you in the future, you still have an uninsured deed from your mom. And we're going to want to go back and make sure that that was really her intent. And if she's not there, that's going to be difficult for us to do. So any uninsured deeds of record are going to be a red flag to us. And we have to go back and get an affidavit from the grantor that signed that deed before we can go forward with the transaction.
Was it fraudulent?
Was it valid
Were they
transfer?
under duress
Right.
when they said we don't determine that, and we're at our risk? We want to issue clear title.
Right. So title insurance, huge for any type of transaction. Anybody acquiring a property in any way that they acquire it should definitely make sure that they buy title insurance.
Can you guys issue title insurance on sub-2 properties?
Subject to?
Yes.
Yes.
And so how does that work with respect to, the lender and whatnot? Is there any issues there, or are we strictly talking title and the note or the lender doesn't really have anything to say or do with it?
That's correct. That's on the title. Now, we won't do them on the VA or FHAs, insured loans.
Okay.
We have an agreement with those parties or those entities that we're not going to do the subject twos or the wraps on those.
Okay.
But otherwise, the subject twos that we do, we have a bunch of disclaimers. There's risk in there for the buyers. You have the risk of the lender due on sale triggering if there is one on their loan. It just depends on the transaction that they're getting into, but we can insure it, and there's no effect on the notice to the lender if that's the way that the transaction's written, and it's something we can do.
Got it. So you guys won't do them on VA or FHA, but any other mortgage or not an issue.
Yes.
Yeah, VA and FHA, all doing.
And other ones can
Well,
too,
it's a
right?
government insured.
Correct.
Is that why? We got our
Okay,
senior
we are
underwriter.
actually now is the time to bring in our senior
Special
underwriter
guest
with his
appearance. Special
Oh,
guest.
And he's like,
Ron
ding, ding, ding.
Blackbird.
It's time for me to get in there.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
Hello
So-
and welcome to Title
Title
Talk, where we
thing.
talk
Yes.
about title being sexy.
Hi.
Ron, make it sexy.
I don't know if I can make it sexy, but you've already got the basics. Some of the other things you need to do on subject to is what triggers the lender on an acceleration clause, due on sale clause, is all of a sudden getting a check from somebody else rather than their original borrower. So one way to address that is to go to a account servicing company and have the current owner set it up so they start getting checks from the current owner to the account servicing. And after the transfer takes place, you know, that check from the new owner goes to account servicing, and the lender is only getting the check from the same service company month after month. So that works if you do that a couple of months beforehand. And the other thing is a change of insurance.
Right.
So you get a wrap insurance policy and keep the current insurance policy valid.
Right.
Oh,
Those-
so you have two insurance policies then, just to make sure that we're double insured and that the lender doesn't have, they're not looking at it saying, hey, why is there all of a sudden this new insurance policy? So they have the original insurance policy, and the new buyer then gets another policy to insure the wrap.
To ensure their interest in the property over and
Got
above
it.
the loss payee clause in the first policy.
Loss payee insuring the lender.
Insurance.
Sure.
Yeah, correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Guys, this is so important. I hope all of you that are involved in creative deals are listening to this. There's gems being dropped in here. A lot of very experienced people helping you guys understand the appropriate ways to do these deals so that you don't run into problems. And this is really important on creative stuff because you want to keep these houses. You want to let these wraps mature and have what you were hoping to accomplish in the deal happen. And so this is why it's really important to be working with an experienced escrow officer to help you. And where you're about to make a mistake and cancel the insurance and put the insurance in your name, like, don't do that. Keep that policy going and get another policy, because you're going to create a problem with the lender. I mean, if you're not doing business with the right title company who can give you that information and point you in that direction, you're going to mess stuff up.
Right. Worst thing you'd want is a few months into it, and they'd call the loan because they got a policy under a different borrower's name.
So smart. You guys are phenomenal. Well,
Can we talk about something spooky?
yes, I want to talk about spooky stuff.
Let's talk about spooky stuff.
So what is the biggest ghost story that you've been involved in a deal, right? So we've had a lot of people asking questions about deceased sellers and how do we deal with what happens if somebody dies in the middle of a transaction, or what if I'm bought a property subject to from somebody and the original mortgager has passed away? What is a spooky title story that you've experienced in the 35 and 25 years in the business that we wouldn't have known without you?
So many.
Right. Well, when you mentioned in the middle of a contract or middle of escrow when somebody passes, and on our seller side, it's going to create an issue unless in Nevada, again, a community property state, if they have title as joint tenants, then we're okay. We can move forward. We record a death certificate. You're now dealing with just the surviving spouse on title. That makes it easy. If you're in the middle of an escrow transaction and those owners, Mr. Smith and Mrs. Smith, don't have a tenor of title at the end that says joint tenancy, right, or survivorship, those sort of things, then we're stuck, because then it would have to go to probate for that surviving spouse. And that's going to delay escrow. Then you have the possibilities that somebody can come and outbid them in the probate sale, correct, or probate. Mm-hmm. So you're taking a lot of risks in that and delays, and that transaction could possibly never close.
Got it.
This might have heirs challenging the interest ownership, correct?
Sure.
So is there any story you guys could share that's like kept you up at night?
That lady.
The lady?
The lady.
The what? The
foreign.
Yeah, well, I can tell you there was one that I resigned on, and it bothered me because there was
Okay.
Yeah, there was
When you say resign, you didn't
And you don't
resign
ever
from your
resign.
job. You
I
resigned from the
don't,
file.
but I had to resign as escrow officer on this file because the seller came in, and she was early 90s, well put together lady. You could tell she was very well off at one point and just the nicest gal. We had a few red flags before she came in to sign. The buyers had come in the day before to sign their loan documents, and the realtor and the loan officer were kind of talking in front of my notary about how this little lady is dating a gentleman overseas she's never met. She's going to marry him. She met him online. She's going to help him come over to the United States. And they kind of opened up this conversation, and they were like, her neighbor even called the realtor and said, hey, she probably shouldn't be selling this property, and she's going to sell it and give all of her money away. And so even that realtor mentioned that in that signing. Well, the notary told us about it. So then when she came in, the seller herself to sign, she had a driver drop her off, and she sat here and proceeded to tell us how she was going to take all of her proceeds and send them to her boyfriend or fiance overseas that she had not met in person yet, and to bring him over here, and they were going to get married and live happily ever after.
Oh my God.
Between the stories from the agent, finding out that the neighbor called the agent, the neighbor of the seller, and said, I don't think she's doing the right thing. I don't think she knows what she should, I didn't want to see anybody in their 90s end up homeless on the street because she made a bad decision. And I just wasn't comfortable. And I asked her many times, I didn't want to get too personal, but I felt the need to find out what she was doing. And she wanted her proceeds. She was sending them off to that guy the next day after closing. I consciously didn't feel comfortable with it. And I just had to resign because I felt like I was going to see her on the street one day.
Did you ever track that house and find out what happened with it?
Another small title company here in town, small one here, closed it. Yeah, we tracked it and closed it. And what happened to her, I don't know. But I can sleep at night knowing that I wasn't party to it. If the other small title company, who we knew one of the escrow officers over there, and there was some conversation between some people that knew each other, they still went through and did the deal. And it's just not something I was comfortable with.
Well, and we do trainings on elder abuse and what to watch out for. Even
that's a big topic in our world right now.
Yeah.
It's huge.
The vacant land scams.
The fraudulent owners on vacant land. We see a lot of very creative fraudsters out there anymore. And that was just one that I didn't personally feel comfortable with. And I rarely resign on a transaction, but I just had to on that, just so I didn't feel like I was helping, not enabling her to do it, but knowing I closed her escrow and she's going to lose all of her money, Yeah.
That is, and we know that cost you money,
Yes.
and so you lost money on that file. You walked away. You made the choice. You made the humanitarian choice to say, I'm going to walk away. I'm going to lose money on this. I'm going to do the stand-up thing here, and I'm going to sleep at night. And again, it's interesting to me, and I'm happy you didn't name the company that did close it, but it's interesting to me that there's still people out there that will do work like that,
Yes.
and it's beautiful to see that Fidelity has employed real people who care about human beings and care about the heart and soul of what we do here, because this is fun, right? We're supposed to be enjoying ourselves. We're supposed to be feeling good about how we earn a living, and we should never have to worry about what's going to happen to us when we put our head down at night, with respect to the dreams and the thoughts. And so congratulations on having that attitude. It makes me first want to just reach through the screen and give you a big hug, but
we'll just do some hearts.
Yeah, some hearts, big hearts for you.
Do some hearts.
But it does show the love that you've put out to your not only to your customers but to the business as a whole. So that's really important to know.
And I think that what it also speaks volumes about is that leadership is supporting your decisions, right? When it comes to not making money on a transaction. So I think one of the things I love about Fidelity is our leadership is super supportive.
Yes.
And when we go to them with a problem or a challenge or an idea, like they're all in to support what we're trying to accomplish, as long as it's, legal, ethical, and all the rest of that stuff, which you can't say that about every other company out there.
That's true. And there was no reason, the title perspective, that I couldn't close the deal. It was a personal feeling I had. And I did go to my manager, and it went up even further. And the elder abuse was like the big red flag on it. And so everybody agreed, all the way up to escrow admin had agreed that that was the right thing to do. They're like, no, we support you 100%. We feel the same way.
Love it.
So now we have Ron. Let's talk about something fun and positive.
Well, yeah, I want to know his. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is guys. We're gonna get a little steamy in here. So if I had a little steamy music to play. Yeah, there we go. She got the steam. She got the steam going here. So you know, it's interesting because we asked this question to different escrow officers and people in the business. What's something about a customer that turns you on? What's a turn on for you in the business? What do you like about people?
Our best customers, and are the ones that form the team, and they're smart enough to. And a lot of times, these are the attorneys that are going to be involved in a transaction, or the realtor, sometimes the principal. And Jennifer mentioned this before. We can do a lot before an escrow opens. Our fiduciary capacity, our neutrality, as soon as we have an escrow, takes precedence over everything we're doing in the transaction. So we have the customer that is endeared to us is the one that calls up beforehand and says, this is what I'm anticipating is going to happen. This issue has come up. This party is dead. There was a bankruptcy. There was a foreclosure sale. Whatever it may be, or just an unusual circumstance. And what we do is we, of course, do not give legal advice at any time, but all of us are willing to share experiences that may be very similar to the situation that has been brought before us, or close enough to say, and these were the alternatives that the people turned to resolve that issue. So that when the escrow is opened, that issue has already been pretty much addressed. Everyone knows what they're going to have to do, and that makes a team that is put together as a closing team. The realtor, the principals, and the transaction, and your escrow title team.
I love that. So it's like an orchestrated, really efficient process. You just see everybody doing their part, and everybody's coming in the right place at the right time, making the right thing happen.
Absolutely. And a lot of times, if we don't have the answer, as previously mentioned, we have Fidelity has so many smart, wonderful people that are there. I can't tell you the number of times, even though I've been in this industry for 40 years, where I'm calling one of our senior underwriters, our regional underwriters, whatever's needed to get the answer of what options do we have.
I love the solution-oriented mindset also of you guys are all on the same page 100%. How do we get this done? How do we make this better? What do we have to do? I love it. All right, let's talk about what turns you off.
Yeah, what do you not like?
Yeah.
What
dirty stuff.
Yeah, the stinky
escrow getting blamed for everything.
So when somebody throws you guys under the bus because maybe they didn't get their work done or send stuff in time, and they're like, oh, it's my title company.
Oh, I got to tell you one I just had last week where we had an agent that we send out the initial information sheet. Do you have a transaction fee? What is your commission split? What are the terms of your commission here? Again, we send out the commission order. Is there a transaction fee? We send a separate email. Do you have a transaction fee? Here's the statement. Look at it. Are we missing anything?
Put fireworks with
any question. She never told us about her transaction fee. The escrow closes. 2 days after closing, she's like, I didn't get my transaction fee. Well, we've asked you many times if you had one. We weren't aware of one. We didn't collect one. Well, she tells me on the phone, well, I understand I didn't tell you, but I'm going to call my buyer and I'm going to blame escrow, okay? And I'm like, what do I say to that? Okay.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
She literally told me that on the phone, and I was telling Ron about it, and I'm like, I don't know that somebody I want to work with again. You know,
Right.
She didn't ask me if she could use my, you know, throw me into the bus. She told me. Well, that I know.
Just so you know, you're going to fall in the sword here. I'm going to throw you under the bus.
But I'm going to blame escrow. And I think that's very common that we'll just blame escrow.
Wow.
You know?
So that buyer will refinance down the road and they'll be like, no, Jennifer.
Exactly. So I thought that's probably one of my biggest turnoffs is, you know, if we make mistakes, we're human. I'm going to be the first to admit it to you. But if somebody else is making that mistake, please don't blame it on me.
That's good.
That's actually hilarious and terrible for
you. Well, I wasn't
You-
sure at first when I hung up. I'm like, wait, what? You know, she's going to.
Did you have a chuckle about it afterwards? Were you like, this is just ridiculous?
I did. I've been laughing about it for a week.
Ron talked about teamwork.
Yeah. I took one for her team.
Right?
Yeah, that team.
Yeah, you take it for the team.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
love that.
That would be a big turn off on my part for as far as.
Yeah. And I would
And
say
Julie, what about you on the
realistic-
relationship side too? Like, what turns you off about working with an investor?
Oh goodness. Not getting educated. Like this is amazing education right here, right? What you, Jamil, you and Dina are doing right here. Not working with us in advance, like Ron and Jennifer are saying, just because I feel like besides of just closing a transaction, giving peace of mind, security, title insurance, we can help so much in the upfront process. So we want our agents that are going to list properties to get the lien report from us before. Imagine that. We're going to do a little work before you even go out to the owner's home. Investors, let us run a report for you. Let us help you. So I think it's just because we were tipping there. I think just because we know we're such a good resource. So it's like, gosh, why didn't you call us first? You know, and we're so available.
Resources.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me add.
That's
Let me
really
add-
great advice.
okay.
And, you know,
And you were talking about that, but I can't tell you how many times in escrow that all of a sudden it's getting ready to close and we haven't been told that there's been 2 or 3 addendums, including extensions of the escrow. No one has informed the escrow holder. So
Oops.
oh,
the investor
happens
is
a
so
lot.
concentrating on the deal, they forgot to keep the person in the middle informed, and all of a sudden it becomes a circus.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. If I'm looking for
Communication.
something,
Communication's huge.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Communication. And I think investing, right? That sounds sexy. That's exciting. Everybody wants to be an investor. Everybody now wants to be a wholesaler, and they
Oh,
we lost them.
we lost them.
I don't think that was us. That was probably them, right?
Uh-oh. Maybe her phone died.
Maybe her phone.
Maybe
died.
we'll just wait and hang out for
Oh, there they are.
there they are. They're back.
yeah,
We're back. We lost you for a
So
minute.
just get some just education.
Yes. Everybody wants to be a wholesaler, and I will take responsibility for that.
That's all your mentoring and stuff. That's right.
They see, they're like, oh, you know, if I'm a wholesaler, I'll get a nice gray beard like that. No, it's because you know the popularity of this has exploded, and in all honesty, wholesaling it's a low barrier strategy, right? You don't
have to have money.
You don't got to have money. You don't got to have a license. You don't, you know. But what I would say is get educated.
Yes.
Don't be a jabroni and just start writing contracts and not know what you're doing. Understand these are legal documents. You're in the process of you're touching legal instruments here, and people's lives and livelihoods are at stake. Be cognizant of that.
And I think of like our operation is 21 escrow officers.
Right.
We have 2, maybe 3 that can even do these complex of transactions. You have to have that exceptional escrow officer. That's number one in investing. Have a dynamic like you, Jennifer.
And it's part of the team that Ron
and then
mentioned.
the
It's part
team,
of the-
Ron, and all of us
So
together.
if you've got the escrow officers and title folks that you work with, which obviously with this group you're working with here, it's so important that everybody relies on each other. You guys are specialized in your part of the transaction. I specialize in my part of the transaction, and we all need each other to get through it. So it is a team, and the more I can learn from the agents or the wholesalers I'm working with, the better I can serve them. Same thing with the more they can absorb from what they can get on our side, the better and more educated we all become. We also, as escrow, have to be very flexible with the market and the way things change. And so I've been very fortunate over my years that when the market dumps, you learn REOs and you learn deeds in lieu and you learn, and then the next market comes back up and you're into these wholesalers so you have to be flexible and learn the different types of transaction to be valuable to your customers.
I love that. Well, with all that experience, what's the most memorable deal you've had? Like, did you close a deal for
somebody
Al Capone?
famous?
Someone famous?
I mean, with some of that national commercial stuff Jennifer does, I'm just wondering if she did anything. Did she do the stadium? I don't know.
No, I did a hotel recently for one of our good customers, which was a really exciting deal to do. I did a hotel transaction.
Oh, good, fun. Okay, like a big
and so
hotel?
that was really exciting, and I was really excited to see this particular client get that hotel because he's just grown his business here locally and nationally, and very excited to do that. We've done some very complicated transactions, which to me are very rewarding at the end when they get done. So I enjoy some of those as well. I kind of thrive on those types of transactions. And so there's a list of many that I would say.
You do the ones where it's like 300 beneficiaries all in one getting paid off, and you have to calculate.
We have done those. Yeah. We have done those.
I walk in and I'm like, wow.
Those you can't forget, but I don't think you want to relive that memory.
Yeah. No, that one was probably one of the not great memories, but we get through them. But when I do close them, though, to me, I get a feeling of reward for myself or satisfaction because they were so challenging and the client stuck with it and we all got it done and everybody at the end was extremely happy. So I've seen all kinds of different deals, residential and commercial, that are to me very rewarding personally, just because I was able to be part of it and get it to the finish line.
Not to mention our master plan communities that she's been involved in. You know, when you're out of the BLM, from the government into the master plan developers, and seeing those thousands of homes populating Las Vegas.
Yes.
Southern Highlands, yeah.
Southern Highlands.
This is the master team. If you come to Vegas and you see Southern Highlands, this is the team that created.
Ron worked on that for years.
Yeah, that is Ron Walker's
his baby. Yes.
So Ron must be a golfer.
Must be. What's your handicap?
No, it's actually hockey. I'm with you. Forget the golf.
So can I just say on the sales side, because Jennifer gets all the complex deals and commercial and anything and everything under the sun, moon, stars, right? But she likes the nice, easy deals too. She likes the simple cash deals.
Those are nice too.
Sometimes it's like, oh, take it to Jennifer. It's like, give her the good ones too.
Yeah, we'll take them all.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think we need to say a big thank you to our friends from Las Vegas who are on here live for Title Talk. So if you guys have not shared or given love to this podcast, we need you to do that.
Yes. And obviously we're coming to the end of our show here and we had so many more questions for you. So we have to skip through.
So we probably have to have them back someday.
We got to have you back, but we're going to ask you one last thing. What's the last thing each of you Googled?
How to prepare for a podcast.
Oh,
love it. Love it.
Good answer.
I love it. Oh,
what about you?
What to wear to Nashville?
Love it.
I'm
going to guess it said jeans and boots.
The fact that I had to Google that.
That is hilarious.
I want to know about Ron.
Ron, what did you Google?
What are the odds for Vegas winning on Friday night?
Oh, what are they?
What are they?
They're going to win. They got to win.
Go Vegas.
Go Vegas.
Go Vegas.
Go Vegas.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Guys, can you please give us information on how people can reach out to you to do business with you? What's the best way to get a hold of the superstar team in Las Vegas to do deals?
Jennifer, you probably want call, email.
Yeah.
Do you want to give your direct line here at the
Sure.
office?
Sure, it's 702-822-8180. Always
One more
here,
time.
always available to answer the phone. And then you can reach us through, obviously, emails for me. I'm not, after 35 years in the business, I'm a little older, I'm not as big on the social media side, so I depend heavily on my marketing team and my sales team to do that stuff. But you can also reach me at jennifer.hubbard@fnf.com.
And we
Beautiful.
could put that up for your viewers too. I'm on all the social media handles. Follow us, Fidelity Las Vegas, and my cell. I love to talk to investors. I love to talk about, so when we come back, helping you acquire properties and what we do for our partners. So I'm at 702-303-0883, and text me. Probably text, I can respond quicker. Connect with me on social media, and thank you.
And what are your social handles, Jules?
I'm Julie Cimarelli on Facebook with a CIMORELLI. I'm Jules McCrum on, I got to fix that on Instagram. Things just get going fast, right? And we're Fidelity LV on Instagram, Fidelity Las Vegas. You can look us up. We're doing some fun things on social media, some great masterminds. So I can, do you want me to put that out in the chat, Dina, or you could send that out?
Yeah, that'd be great. That would be
Okay.
awesome, because we just don't have keyboards accessible
Yes.
right now. That would be awesome.
Okay,
And
perfect.
you know what's interesting is we did get some data in Nevada.
Oh,
In Nevada.
if you guys want some data in Nevada, so I'm talking about sales data, information that's really important for you to know if you're doing business in Las Vegas, Nevada. The only way you're going to get that data is by emailing titletalk@fnf.com, and Dina will deliver it to you.
And I think it also includes other
Awesome.
places.
There may be some,
Especially Arizona.
Especially Arizona. So guys, if you have not gotten the Q1 data to tell you where your market is your market appreciating? Is it depreciating? How many sales? Is it a good market, a hot market, a cold market? Should I be asking or offering above list? Should I be offering 100K below list? I don't know.
Should I give sellers incentives? Should I give buyers incentives?
Right.
That's why you need to know if it's going up or down, because you change your message. You change
100%.
how you're approaching the people you're going to transact with.
The only way to get that data, guys, is emailing Dina at titletalk@fnf.com. That's titletalk@fnf.com. We have the lovely ladies from Las Vegas. They have their information in the chat. Guys, it was so fun hanging out with you.
Thank you so much. And Ron, our special guest, that's fun.
Ron, you were a phenomenal man. And we just really enjoyed everything that you guys brought to the table. Phenomenal energy, a lot of really insightful information, and the chat loved you guys. So thank you so much. And we'll have to have you guys back on again.
Thank you. We
Thank
love
you.
your podcast. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you both.
All right.
Take care.
From Dina and myself at Title Talk, guys, enjoy. We'll see you again.
Next episode's featuring Fidelity, Florida.
Whoop, whoop. Take care, guys.
I'm going to have to end the broadcast top right.